because they've been pulled out of the line 20 feet from becoming a citizen. I have to stand up for that morally. This isn't right or left, as was said, this is right or wrong, and I have to stand up for that, and they gladly accept that their inheritance could be lost in that process, because he threatens everybody. He threatens our allies, he threatens other countries, he threatens our neighboring countries, he threatens everybody with the same financial thing. But if we're not going to make a moral stand, when do we? If we allow the finances to be our main reason not to make a moral stand, we are no different than a guard dog laying underneath the table of the federal government, hoping for scraps from their table. That is all we are at this point. If we tell them that we will not take a stand, we are nothing more than protecting ICE, protecting their policies, protecting them being masked, protecting them assaulting and killing citizens of the United States, and being their guard dog. I don't think that's what this city wants. I don't think all these people came out tonight to say, we want to be the guard dog of the federal government, hoping they'll drop a scrap on the table. Because that's all they're giving us. They're not giving us great amount of money like they are the rich. They're giving us the scraps from the table. One of my favorite quotes from an Auschwitz survivor says, "It wasn't Hitler or Hinman who caused the damage to my family, who killed my family, who destroyed my life, who imprisoned me. It was the baker, the garbage man, and others who put on this uniform that gave them a sense of power that they could do whatever they wanted with that uniform on." We're seeing this with ICE. They are brutally beating people pinned to the ground by 6 people, while some cities' officers stand by. Minneapolis did not. We should not either. I think these resolutions should be placed with the public safety, and we should take a stand very firmly and say we are not going to stand for this in our community. We are not going to have abandoned vehicles because somebody's window got busted out and they were dragged out and their documents were not accepted because they did not have a passport in their hand, they had a driver's license in their hand. We don't have the resources to deal with the aftermath of ICE. We don't have the resources to clean up our city. We don't have the resources to fix our city. We don't have the resources to deal with the abandoned cars. Over 250 of them in Minneapolis to date, where they've ripped people out of their car in the middle of an intersection and caused a traffic jam and left the car. Some of the cars were even smashed where they rammed into the car and made it not able to be driven. We don't have the resources to deal with the aftermath. We should be dealing with this proactively instead of reactively. We have to stand up for what's right. These are our neighbors, they're our friends, they're people we care about, their lives are in jeopardy. All they want is the same opportunity that everybody in this room that's not a Native American got at one point. Do we have a huge immigration problem? Yes. Do we need to find a path to legalization and citizenship? Yes. We know that. We can't solve that, but we need to stand up for our neighbors and the people in this community. They are a large part of this community. My grandfather, 25 years ago, was a school bus driver in Reese. And one of the things that I rode with him as a very young child on his bus, we picked up migrant kids and took them to school. That's what I want to see our community do. I want to see them support those people and stand up for those people. And I'm going to close this on a personal note and surrender the rest of my time. Anybody who looks at my Facebook profile sees that now my Facebook profile, it says I'm a bourbon drinker.
Okay. Commissioner, wait a minute. Commissioner. Okay, nothing is done.
Andrea Overshaw.
State your address.
1341 Jerry Road, Bertrand, Michigan. I am native of Bay City, Michigan. This is my city. When I see things like this going on, I gotta come back and fight for my family. My family's been here since the late 1800s. We were one of the first African American families to come here. I see there are more of us sitting here that we deserve to be here just like immigrants. So I'm gonna start with this. I am here to support the welcoming resolution that Commissioner Rumberg brought to the floor, which now has been broken down into 3 resolutions, all boiling down to President Trump's immigration laws and being privatized and owned by rich, and I know a lot of people from Bay City investors. It seems the people involved with these detention prisons are becoming wealthy on the backs of immigrants and the citizens, for they are getting funding from the government. We could even say low-income Section 8 here, which only shows you have not learned transparency is what the people want, and deceitful lies is unnecessary. And you even said in the news you would veto, but you had not even looked over what the people want here. But yet, ahead of time, you say veto. Shame on you if you veto. You feel that ICE should have free reign over our city and public safety, as if they are not capable of taking care of people. Officer Roel, I commend.
Please address that.
I commend him. In your police public detention centers have become a big business for the rich owners and investors. With this being said, Mayor, you want to, again, veto the immigration resolution. The city can't get funding. President Trump already had stated cities in the blue states are getting nothing. But guess who gets the funding? Exactly, private owners and investors of these detention centers. We could call them landlords getting Section 8, or the big beautiful bill, or the millionaires and the billionaires, desperate to stay on top at the cost of chaos and brutality. By building detention centers of hell, claiming that they are making jobs, I bet if you start searching who owns these hellholes, you would find we have people of authority right here in this city that are upholding people to build these catch and never release immigrants like they are animals.
Good evening, Mayor, Commission. My name is Matt Seuss. I live at 1301 Bliss Drive, in South Bay City. I'm actually here, believe it or not, Mayor, to talk about the affordable housing property tax reduction. I'm here on my own individual capacity. I'm not here representing any type of organization or lobbying. I'm not being paid to be here. But what people need to understand about this program is people in poverty really only find out about it when they're facing home foreclosure. Like, the biggest problem with this program, and I'm glad we're having a presentation, maybe they can work out a payment plan with the treasurer, but if we've got new tax bills coming in on top, it's almost impossible to get out from out of that hole. And so, while it's admirable that we want to increase no reduction to 50% for those under poverty, we really need to have an option where we can get them down to zero. I would say, in my dream world, everybody would get it, but at the very minimum numbers, on top of that, over 50% of the people in our community don't make enough, are living paycheck to paycheck or worse. And so I'm glad that we're looking at helping people, in that gap above 100% poverty line, but so I can comment, favorably on that portion. But it's just what we're doing isn't enough to save homes that are facing foreclosure. So I would hope that I'm happy that it's off the consent agenda. I would hope that you amend it to increase that percentage to 100% of a reduction for those who are
City. The party told you to reject the evidence of your eyes and ears. It was their final, most essential command. That's a quote from George Orwell's book titled 19. To watch the videos, it's pretty clear that Pretty was action is gone. His federal agents weren't even aware of the gun until they had already action is gone. His federal agents weren't even aware of the gun until they had already tackled him to the ground. Seconds after one of the federal agents removed the gun from Pretty's waistband, another agent shot Pretty in the back while he was still clutching his cell phone in his right hand. There are people in this very room that choose to believe what the authorities tell them to believe. They reject the evidence of their eyes and ears. Or worse yet, they simply stick their heads in the sand and wait to be told what to think, what their talking points should be. They view themselves as good citizens, just following the law and respecting authority. But there are also people who reject what authority is telling them. They smell the BS on their breath. Those people choose to examine all the evidence available to them and come to their own conclusions. Oftentimes, these people respect morality over law and authority. When Hitler deported Jews by the millions, he didn't break any laws. He just bent the laws to his own will. The law-abiding citizens of Germany watched it happen because, after all, it was lawful. The welcoming resolutions proposed tonight are really about merging what's morally right with law and law enforcement. There are victims of theft, domestic violence, and sexual assault who are remaining silent. They are afraid to contact the authorities because they know there's a very real chance they could get deported, even if they have obtained legal immigrant status through a visa or through asylum. These resolutions would allow these immigrants to have their voice returned to them so that justice can be served. The resolutions also make sure that Bay City tax dollars are not spent assisting immigration enforcement. Back in March of 2025, the mayor vetoed a similar resolution. He stated, quote, "This resolution put a target on our community's backs to cut significant funding," end quote. He then later added, "The lack of a state senator in the 35th district would have made any potential cuts to local programs and nonprofits hard to overcome." So Mayor Gerard, can you tell me how many municipalities have lost funding on a state or federal level due to welcoming resolutions? I'll give you a hint. I can count them on one hand. Oh, right, 0. The answer is 0. No municipality has ever lost funding on a state or federal level due to welcoming resolutions. So you veto the resolution, you capitulated to the state and federal authorities instead of doing what's morally right in order to avoid the perceived threat of losing funding. Then in December of 25, Timmy Beeson, who was our Michigan State House rep for us here in Bay County, and member of the House Appropriations Committee, voted to cut that $1.6 million for the Bay City's Lafayette Bridge project. Do as I say, or I'm going to take funding from you. Oh wait, I'm going to do it anyway. This is exactly what happens when you capitulate to fascists. The more you give, the more they will take. It's time to stand up. It's time to do what's right. It's time to make immigrants feel safe in the city of Bay City, knowing they won't be deported for being a victim. Thank you.
Being Port Huron, 3501 Homeland. Good evening, everyone. It has come to my attention that Bay City is considering a sanctuary city adjacent policy called welcoming community. According to official city records and local media, this policy would limit police cooperation in immigration matters, prohibit officers from asking about immigration status, restrict assistance to federal authorities, and prioritize local crime enforcement over immigration enforcement. In my opinion, this policy is not only in threat of a lawsuit by the Department of Justice, but this policy is a spit in the face of our American ancestors who fought for this land and died for this country, so that their children would live free men to inherit the glory of their forefathers. Every day Americans are being aborted by pro-choice policies, including more than half of my own generation.
Folks, I'm going to ask somebody to leave. All right, thank you.
Whilst being replaced by millions of immigrants, legal and illegal. I am relentlessly by liberals that Trump has done too much damage to American immigration, yet Trump's immigration policy is more liberal than even half of the work progressive presidents like Obama, Biden, and Clinton did to keep this country safe from foreign invasion. Look it up. Those American ancestors, which we as children were told were evil, racist, slave owners, etc., fought 250 years ago to liberate this land from a foreign tyranny that sought to not only control but subvert our American people and our American way of life. 250 years later, us Americans are once again under attack by a foreign enemy that serves Satan and not Jesus Christ, of which this country's values were founded based on. The true ruler of America. We are told to lie again and again that American land is stolen. Someone mentioned earlier something about Native Americans. Was it the Indians that fought Britain? Was it the Indians that built great cities like Detroit back in the day, and Chicago and New York? Was it the Indians who wrote the Constitution? Of course not. To say such is ignorance. And those same peoples live in their territory freely, unaffected, and unbothered by the great civilization that surrounds their land, living peacefully, actually. To advocate for open borders is cultural suicide. Anyone who has an IQ high enough to understand history understands the collapse of the Roman Empire. Why? Because of mass immigration, foreigners outnumbering the Romans, or the Arab empires, perhaps, where it collapsed with non-Arab leadership taking over. This is a basic world history lesson taught to me actually by a liberal, yet doesn't apply to America for some reason. Cultural subversion is a real thing that leads to the collapse of great empires, and we're seeing it live right here in America. In this moment, for the sake of our children, for the sacrifice of our fathers, we cannot let this country go to ruin because we feel bad that third world countries suck. Liberals say America is selfish as to not welcome these people in. And yet, if a liberal were to say that we should send these people back to their countries and train their leaders to be better as just as us, then they would be crucified for that. Bay City, we must decide. Let's put our Americans first for the sake of our country and the prosperity of our people. With that being said, America first and Christ is King.
All right, thank you. All right, folks, please.
Oh, hear me?
Yep.
All right, I want to tell you right now, I don't have 10 pages to read. I don't have a telephone here.
If you could start with your name and address, that'd be a great start.
Bruce Lee, I cover 810 Tremaine. What would have happened if we didn't open the borders? We wouldn't have that problem today, would we, people? How many billions and billions and billions of dollars Trump has to spend to get all these undocumented people out there that are terrorists, killers, rapists? We're lucky. This man here, what's his name? Commissioner. There he is. Nice picture. Two full big pages, Mike. Did a nice job. What about the other side? What about all the women, kids that got raped, killed, and all that stuff? We don't want to talk about them. Millions of them got raped. We still don't want to have them. Let's talk about those 4 or 5 that got shot or killed because they didn't listen to the law, the rule of law. We're not talking about that. We don't live up in Minnesota where we have to have all kinds of, I give a kick up. These restrictions they got, they should be putting on people when they question them. Undocumented, but we don't want to do that. This guy, he's a clown, he's a joke, and they all are. You guys are Democrats. You know how you create a problem? You ask the Communist Party. You create a problem, and that's what they did when they opened up the border. Because the Democrats don't have enough people votes, so they want undocumented illegals coming in. You look at Minnesota, oh, the Samoans, all the billings going there. New York, Chicago, you're doing it all over, making fools out of us. Thank you, Mr. Democrat. You guys are so worried about us. Look, all that money could stay here in this country. Now Trump's got to go and do dirty work, which he should do. He's doing a hell of a job. He cut the fentanyl. He closed the border. All these thousands and thousands of people are dying. We probably got somebody died from it. Where were you guys? Come on. Where you around here? Oh, no, we don't talk about that. Forget about it. People. You guys don't give about American people, just what you're doing, all the spending you've been doing. If I had a between you and me, I would not trust a Democrat's president one. Look at the background where these guys spend so much money, but they break this down. We get back up, looking real good, the economy's looking good, the stock market, look what's going on, it's beautiful. The other guys get back in, way down. Open up borders, let everybody in. So, just want you to think about you people, especially the young ones. You could, I don't know, but I don't think we have that many documented here in Bay City. I don't know where they're coming from. We might have a couple ICE people, a big deal. I want ICE around me because I don't want to have a neighbor or somebody hiding illegal. It should be against the law. And if there's somebody down my block, I've never saw it before, acting funny, and I have to have a shut down. She might have some identification. There's no way he's going to do afterwards. I didn't break it somehow, so I don't think you're asking that much. Young kids, you better wake up. Otherwise, you're going to have all these people still here. And they're like I said, they're rapists or killers, and look what they did in Minnesota. They got how many, 4, 5, 6,000 rapists. They got ISIS head lawyer. They got them all. And your mayor and your governor should be in prison. They're literally setting these people up, telling them, don't do this, do this, do this. You follow the rule of law, the federal government. That's what's wrong. Last sport, administrations have now, they trigger back on everything. We're not going to follow law. We'll do what we want. We'll go out and take out the rest. We don't give them the rights. It's like January 6th. Those guys didn't get their rights. They threw them in jail, give them 4 years. That was the other party. Well, we can't do that. I wish we could throw these guys in jail right away, but they won't do it. They won't do it right. That was disgusting what they did over there. They couldn't get a lawyer. They couldn't get nothing. And these judges lie up. I don't want to talk about it. That's all I got to say. I want you to think about it. We'd be thankful we got ICE. We wouldn't have to have them if they didn't open the borders up. The other party would not that happen. And all they want to do is they want to get a quota. They want to get more people in here so they get more votes, Congress, so they can be completely majority. We don't want that. So thank you very much. And you too, Mayor. Vote what you did last time. You're on the right track. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Christina Miller. I'm at 2713 North Van Buren Street here in Bay City. And as someone who has lived in one of the longest standing sanctuary cities in America, I'd like to contribute my point of view on this resolution. To not do so would be a dereliction of my civic duty, it appears. I lived in southern Idaho for a little over 20 years, and 10 of them were in the city I mentioned, which is Boise. I moved here to be with my boyfriend, who is now my husband, in 2022. Both he and his mother are lifelong Bay City residents, which is reason enough for me to love my new home. As someone who has lived side by side with a significant immigrant population the majority of my life, let me tackle the misconception that this will somehow make our city unsafe. First, some background. If you know anything about the state of Idaho politically, you know it is consistently the reddest state in the union. With right-wing candidates in national elections winning the popular vote by larger margins than they do in both Texas and Florida. Boise is a cradle of cultural diversity in an otherwise very racially and politically homogenous state. Part of this is because as far back as the 80s, Boise has been a major resettlement city for the refugee population. Crime rates have steadily declined there since the 90s, I'd like to point out. In 2017, during the first Trump administration, when our neighbors were initially threatened with violence, the people of Boise, the capital of, again, the most conservative of all 50 states, unanimously passed a resolution like this one, and still, crime rates have not increased. Currently, they rest a little below 3% in a major American city. No federal charges have been brought against them for it, so to say that that would happen is completely dishonest and not based in fact. It simply codified our existing public safety protocols as From what I've heard tonight, this would do. Thank you for your input, sir. And it celebrates and protects all of the members of its community regardless of race or national origin. My point is, the assumption that immigrants inherently make our community unsafe doesn't hold up to the statistical evidence. Honestly, it doesn't hold up to anecdotal evidence either. Prior to college, I lived in a very small desert town 40 miles outside of Boise. Somehow, in such a small town, in such a sparsely populated state, I met a saint. I'll call her Mrs. K. She's my best friend's mother. Back in the 90s, she met and fell in love with a young airman who was stationed in her home country of the Philippines. They married, and she legally immigrated to the States. At some point before I met my best friend, her father became too sick to work. Her mother took on 3 different jobs at once to support him and their 2 children, as well as her parents back home on the island. In all the time I've known her, she's never missed a single shift at any one of those 3 jobs and was regularly recognized for her performance in her role as a nurse. Somehow, she still finds time to attend church every single week. She embodies the Spirit of Christ more fully than anyone I have ever met. She fed all of us neighborhood kids with a smile on her face. If any one of us needed food, we'd turn up on her doorstep and she would serve us a hot bowl of fried rice. She'd welcome me to the table as readily as any of my many Mexican neighbors or her own nieces and nephews. If my mom forgot to pick me up from drama club, she'd insist no child should wander home alone in the dark and would give me a ride. She always brought a gift when visiting friends, often fresh fruit, because in the Philippines, you never visit a friend empty-handed. Mrs. K never showed up to any part of her life empty-handed, let alone this country. We've seen ICE make many mistakes already with improperly detaining people like Mrs. K. I keep her in the town I spent my childhood in my prayers every night. I pray the citizens of that town will do right by her, and I pray they never have to feel the void that would inevitably be left behind by her absence. I'm almost out of time, I know, so to quickly touch on the second assumption I hear coming up a lot about this resolution, that it would somehow be illegal. Law enforcement itself just stood here and told you that they already use the majority of these practices. This is meant to codify what we will hold ICE to as a standard in our community, because it is our community, not theirs. Evidently, we couldn't even afford to keep our bridges publicly accessible without money from private interests, and I do hear the council people that have told us that is a major concern. I understand that. To that, I would say we also can't afford to take the accountability for ICE illegally detaining citizens in our community. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Dustin Cossack. I reside at 505 Braddock Street, Bay City, Michigan, in the South End. I want to thank you guys for being here today and hearing us and answering our questions. Being a politician nowadays is very rough. I am here today because I want to hear you guys veto the proposal this week about sanctuary cities. The reason being is, I went to Delta College for criminal justice, and then my life drastically changed in 2002. I was sent to prison for home invasion first degree. Yes, home invasion first degree. If any of y'all know what home invasion first degree is, it's probably one of the worst crimes you can now commit. It has a life sentence, and it's just, obviously it's breaking into somebody's home. Now obviously mine is a little bit different than the average. I did honestly broke into my own home. There's reasons being. However, it was a home invasion, first degree. When you break into somebody's home, and it's legally not your home, or you to be there, then you go to jail. And then you go through our awesome court system, because that's our right? We all have rights. You go through the court system. I was found guilty, and I was guilty. You know what I did? I did 18 years in prison, and doing 18 years in prison, I got out in 2002, and I already now have owned a home for a year and a half. I have a nice car, I have a good job, so I know how hard it can be for some people to come out of, prison, committing crimes, and having to pay property taxes, all of the, things that go along with it. I have spoke a couple times through text with our Mayor, Mr. Gerard, and I thank you for actually responding sometimes. I know I can sometimes sound like an idiot, but I am concerned. When I left this city in 2002, it was an amazing city. And there was a lot going on in this city. We used to have the River Roar, we had the River of Time, the Picnic, which had now come back. But we just had so many amazing things in this city that you no longer see it. I don't know how or what happened to the money, but every time I mention stuff, all I get from Mr. Gerard is, we don't have the revenue. We don't have the revenue. Well, where's the revenue? How do we not have money to run our own city? We just redid Smith Street. I drive down Smith Street. What's down Smith Street? Nothing. Not a single thing is down Smith Street. But you know what road has a lot down it? State Street. And you're about to lose your car driving down State Street. And I see some of you shaking your head, but this is real. We have, I believe it's Fire Station number 2 down Garfield Road. Have any of y'all drove down Garfield? It's horrible. How do we have a fire station on a road that is that big? So what am I saying up here? What I'm saying is, if we're going to possibly lose funding for making this a sanctuary city, which I don't know if we will or not, but I do know that someone has mentioned in the future, which these bridges will all have to pay in 2028. And y'all may think that, well, we just won't go drive over Vents Bridge, or when Lafayette's done, we'll drive over Lafayette. But guess what? As any of y'all have lived here long enough to know, those bridges sometimes don't work. So what are you going to do when Vents Bridge don't work? Are you going to not go on the other side? No, you're going to have to go over that bridge. And I'll tell you, I accidentally went over that bridge with a rental car. It cost me $10 for one time over it. All the hidden fees, because there is hidden fees in that. So just so everybody knows, is aware of that. So we are, here in this city, we are under obviously, in my opinion, a crisis, financially. And I think we need to start really thinking more of how we can help our own citizens and take care of our own community, and maybe not build up an uptown when we have a downtown that's damn near empty. Maybe we could actually start making it to where people want to invest or give them tax cuts to open a business in a vacant lot. Or we have a whole mall. Now we actually got 2 malls that are basically vacant. So anyway, I don't want to sit here and take too much time, but I just hope to hear the meat of it. Because if anybody walks on anybody's land, it's called trespassing. And you get a citation or go to jail. Same thing as going over the border.
All right, thank you.
Hi, my name is Gil Schaefer. I live at 300 Shady Lane in Auburn, Michigan. Though I don't live in Bay City, I do spend a lot of time here. My grandparents have lived in Bay City my entire life. I'm a resident of Bay County. I'm here to speak today in favor of the resolutions proposed by Commissioner Lundberg. Hearing everything that's kind of going around, I have some prepared notes, but just off of what's been said, the biggest concerns are related to funding. It seems like the current administration is going to screw with people's funding regardless, so it seems like a pretty weak reason to not take a stand. I really appreciate the service of public safety officers. As someone who's participated in several protest demonstrations over the past year, public safety people have always been there keeping us safe. I bear no ill will, even though I'm a liberal. I'm not like a deep on the police kind of person. I think a lot of really intense language gets thrown around by what these kinds of resolutions aim to do. The implication is that people like me are in favor of some sort of crime or some sort of lawlessness, or that we would be okay if someone broke into our house. But the fact of the matter is that really what I view this as doing is encouraging a neighborly relationship between immigrants and police officers. And I was encouraged to hear the police officer today say that they are not required to ask for people's immigration status, but codifying that does seem like it would be a worthwhile endeavor so that immigrants in this community know that they can do these things. Maybe they don't know that that's the policy. So this would make that very clear. What I find to be a little lawless is when you have masked men in unmarked vehicles brandishing firearms, apprehending people, not wearing body cams, not using judicial warrants, and not using any semblance of due process. One of the things that the previous gentleman mentioned was that he was tried and he broke in and did that thing, and that's fine, but we have people who are legally going through the system trying to get asylum, and they're being taken away from their court hearings. If you were accused of a crime, and the day you showed up to defend yourself in court, you were taken away in cuffs, that's not due process. So, I don't think that it's right for the people on the side of law and order to stand here and say that immigrate the right way when the people who are doing it the right way are being taken away in cuffs. You can support American borders and think that needs to be a strong border, and also acknowledge that ICE has gone too far at the same time. These ideas are not mutually exclusive. And sure, we're a city, we don't have jurisdiction over federal agents, but is that a reason not to take a stand and call out immoral behavior? ICE detentions and deportations of individuals with non-violent records are reaching an all-time high. They are not going after the bad hombres. They are not hiring the best nor the brightest people to do this extremely difficult work. Police officers and law enforcement is a hard expletive job, right? So there's no way that we should just be taking people and giving them 50 grand to do this work and then letting them do it scot-free. The people who murdered Alex Freddie and Renee Good, as far as we know, are going to get off scot-free, and I don't want to see that happen in this city. I want to see these resolutions put forth, improve cooperation between our city's residents and their police, and not waste our resources supporting the poorly trained and criminally violent feds that are being employed by ICE. And there are days where I do wonder if I'm on the wrong side, but then I see Christian nationalists speaking against me, and I realize I think I'm doing okay. Thank you guys for your time.
Thank you.
Good evening, everybody. First, I'd like to say, Director Caleb, great job holding your composure earlier.
Just make sure name and address for her.
Jordan Banizak, 2219 26th Street. Anyways, I come here today as a longtime Bay City resident, someone deeply involved in the community, someone who cares greatly about small business. I'm friends with a lot of small business owners in this town who I talk to on a daily basis. Let me be clear, we do not need this Welcome City resolution, or let's be honest, it's a sanctuary city resolution. We do not need to continue spending valuable commission time debating issues like this when our city is facing much larger real challenges that demand immediate action and resources. If you want to come to this country, that's fine, but do it legally, follow the law. Our city should not be a place to put itself in a position that brings unnecessary controversy or national attention, potentially losing funds that could negatively impact our community or our city in general. Instead, we should be focusing on the real problems our residents deal with every day. Aging infrastructure, the numerous water main breaks. We've seen it in just the past few weeks. Outdated substations, the ongoing grid situation that's screwing many people over, and the need to attract new businesses while supporting the small businesses that are here. We have a lot of small businesses in this town that need help that we need to be focusing on instead of this word salad stuff that's coming out about immigration. I want you guys to think about something. I encourage everyone here today to take a serious look at your ward commissioners. Are they focused on improving the quality of life of this city, or are they spending time on personal agendas or doing personal things that don't move the city forward? Some commissioners are working hard. I'm not saying any people that aren't, but there are people that are going above and beyond that deserve great recognition. Others, however, appear to wake up in the morning and think, what can I bring to the table that's going to waste time here at the commission that gets absolutely nothing done? Nothing at all. This got vetoed the first time, why we're bringing it back a second time? To the commissioners, as I said, we continue to focus on infrastructure improvements, economic development, and supporting small businesses. Thank you so much for your hard work. We greatly appreciate it. We see it every day. Your work matters. Your resolutions matter. All resolutions matter, but wasting the commission's time on resolutions that we see here today for the immigration stuff is uncalled for. Lastly, I'll leave with this. I encourage everybody here to take a long look at what this town is. Many small businesses are here, as I said, with an ongoing bridge fiasco, if you want to call it that. We have people leaving this town. I don't care what the numbers say. I mean, my road alone, I watched 6 people move out because they don't like the commissioners. You know, my brother wanted to move here, buy rental properties, don't like some of the commissioners here. You know, I'm not saying they're bad people. I'm not wishing no harm or violence on them at all. We have to get Bay City out of neutral. We are stuck in neutral right now, and this is a big problem that we're spending time at this commission meeting talking about stuff like this when we have way bigger fish to fry than this. When it got vetoed down the first time, Mayor Gerard, I commend you. You're doing a great job in my opinion. Mr. Coakley, you're doing a great job. Laura, done a great job so far. Mr. Zanati, great job so far. Lastly, sorry, I don't have to say it here. I encourage you to veto this. Again, I encourage you to vote this down, and I encourage you to heavily vote this down. This ain't Bay City. We don't need this junk here. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Andre Williams from Detroit, Michigan, 1160 Homecombe, Detroit, Michigan. I'm a political content creator with about 300,000 followers on Instagram, 50,000 on X. I talk about the black community and the problems with black people in America. Aggressive. We look at immigration in this country. Historically, immigrants have not been in America. It was blacks and whites that were in America. That's a fact. We sit back and talk about stolen land, but you benefit from the stolen land. You benefit from being in this country. There's no other country you'd rather go to. With that being said, I'll bring my black American perspective on this immigration issue. I don't want people in my country that are incompatible with our way of life and existence. Immigration, statistically, lowers wages. Big billionaires, big corporations, both parties, use illegal immigration for their own benefit, the same power. And we get nothing. Working class gets nothing. There's working class, white and black communities every time. We've seen it over and over again the last 40 years. In 2060, black people, who are currently 13% of the population, will be only 15%. Whites will be under 50%, and Hispanics will be 30%. They're currently 21%. This is a great replacement, and the first people being replaced are black people politically, economically, in our communities. No, I don't support illegal mass immigration. I don't support any of these policies. They're destroying our country. And I'm sitting in a room of weak, white men and women that are letting the country go. You think the country's gonna be better because you've got more, food to get at a store, or you got more cuisines? You're doing this because you want to feel good. That's why. You're doing this because you want to have some good feeling. I'm helping out the minorities. Give me a break. No, you're not. You're killing yourself. You're slowly allowing your civilization, your identity to be eroded. And then you're going to sit back and drag other black people and bring us out as the token blacks to support these policies, which directly affect us in major cities. We suffer from it. We're not benefiting from it. We're not going to gain anything from it. When Hispanics become the majority in this country from illegal immigration because they have a higher birth rate and because blacks and whites don't want to have stable and strong families, we sit back and allow our families to be extremely dysfunctional in our own regard. When these people come to our country, they're not coming for a better way of life. They're coming for two reasons. For economic opportunity, because guess what, their country doesn't have it. And also because we support foreign countries and destabilize their countries and allow these people over here and advocate for these people to be over here. I'm going to mention Israel. America's greatest enemy, not ally. So to sit here and have white men and women, along with black people, I'm seeing on TV constantly support these policies, you are slowly destroying this country. Black Gen X, you're slowly destroying this country. White Gen X, you're slowly destroying this country. White millennials that want to sit back and talk about they're for the working class, they're for socialism. Well, guess what?
Sir, make sure you address.
Just address the commission, please.
Guess what? Stalin and Mao, they deported millions of people. When I talk about the Holocaust, you know what? I was the Gestapo. We get these people out quicker. I don't want people in my country who are here to economically and politically replace the people who built this country for generations. My family's been in this country for generations. My family didn't come off a boat in the last century. They were brought over here, sold by Jews and Arabs. Brought over here to the southern states. And they worked very hard for this country to be what it is today. But now we have weak people in power that want to feel good, that want to sit back and try to swindle us and fool us as if they care about these people. If you actually care about these people, you go after the mass corporations that use these people for cheap labor, both Democrat and Republican. If you actually care about these people, you wouldn't sit back and try to pander to them to get them to vote for you every election. You would actually serve the people's interests, fixing the failing infrastructure, fixing the dysfunctional schools, providing incentives for people to have families, strong and stable families. We're not having it in this country. We're sitting here crying about 2 people that got killed, when we have millions of people in our country that are homeless. We're crying about people who stood in the way of us solving a massive issue, not just in this country, but across all the Western world, Western civilization. Listen, you can sit back and look at me and say, why is this black man up here defending this? Because I live here. This is my country. I serve my country in the 82nd Airborne. I love my country. My family's worked very hard for this country. My grandfather's 44 years in the Navy, 20 years in the city of Detroit as an EMT, a doctor with a PhD in anatomy and physiology. My mother, working in real estate and insurance. My father deceased. A hard-working American family. Generations of black Americans have worked very hard. And generations of white Americans have worked very hard. And for us to give up what we have, for us to give up what we built, is a great tragedy. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Gregor Bledsoe. I'm not going to give my address due to the death threats I've received since I've been in Minneapolis.
He has to give his address, actually.
I actually can.
Okay, you can talk.
So,
Point of order, you do have to give your address when making public comment, don't you?
Yes.
We can ask, but it can't be
if I'm
mandated.
going to die, I have to put it on record? Really?
I think so.
Alright, back to point. I'm here to announce that George Soros' war on the locality.
We have to give our addresses in front of these people.
Did you state your needs? Please state your
Yeah, my name is Gregor Bledsoe. I do live in Bay City, and I am trying to help the community. So,
Everybody else has to say.
All right, well, you know what? You can leave. Please leave. Please escort her out.
I had to say my address in front of him.
Excuse me, everybody had to say their address.
I'm the only person in here who is actually in Minneapolis. So you all are talking about ICE, talking about this, talking about that, you're talking about signal check. I'm the only person who's been there and seen it.
Hold on, sir.
Is she leaving?
Yes, I asked her.
You're all talking like you know what you're talking about. You haven't even seen it.
Are you fucking serious?
I was there, yeah. Man, assaulted over 100 times by you people. So I'm here to declare that George Soros' war on the localities is over.
Just like the rest of us.
This is how we're gonna do it, really?
Yes, that's really how it works around here.
You know, you guys all, you know we're up
Hold on.
Everybody must have to say their address.
Everyone has to say their address.
Everyone.
Commissioner Runberg won't let this happen.
Yeah, Commissioner Runberg, yeah. Okay. Good. I'm glad you stole the show tonight too, buddy.
Address the commission.
Commission now. Reset my time, please. I'm here to declare war.
I do have a point of order. I mean, to the mayor, I do want to be fair, I want to be consistent, and I want our rules to be clearly enforced. You know, unless there's some type of, personal protection order, I'm just really concerned that if we're changing.
They're trying to dox me. This is what they do.
Hold on. The clerk informed me when asked, that we ask for the name and address. Technically, so if somebody doesn't want to give their exact address, they don't have to. They can say what city. That's what.
If I didn't
Is that
have a
correct?
person, I would give my address, I promise.
Go ahead.
Nobody give your address in the future, guys. I guess nobody.
Hold on.
Through the chair, so he said he was from Bay City. Do we need an exact address or
It's
just?
not from Bay City.
Yes, I am. I live in a nonprofit inside.
Hold on. We're just clarifying for. So that's correct. The law says. All right. So.
And I can help you with your funding issue.
Hold on a minute. We're clarifying rules. Commissioner Chalwa, you.
Everybody comes up here, I was told,
It's gonna be a big deal. 1105 South Broadway.
give their address, and everybody does.
We just got the address.
For this young
All
man
right.
here.
He just provided
It
it.
is.
He
Just provided the address.
Thank you.
What's state?
Okay, I'm going to ask you to leave too, sir. Please, we're not going to go back and forth. Let's be respectful. All right.
I'm here to bring attention that George Soros' war on the localities is over. That patriots are in control, and that patriots have won. The Michigan First Movement and myself look forward to ousting all of you DSA agents sitting in front of me. Your organization has worked with nefarious actors like George Soros, Reid Hoffman, Bill Gates, the Arabella Network, and many more, who have sought to destroy the United States from within. Not a conspiracy. Here in Michigan, 2018, the Independent Redistricting Commission. 2020, expanding voter access that led to mass mail-in ballot fraud and mass electronic voting fraud. 2022, same game plan, beautiful trifecta for you guys. And you passed Prop 3. And then let's look at 2024, Alyssa Slotkin stealing Mike Rogers' seat. Oh yeah, I went there. Folks, let's put America first. Let's put Bay City first. Let's put Saginaw first. When I look around, I don't see an area that's obsolete. You guys are in here crying and groaning about ICE. I see a place that can be revitalized, that can build ships again, that can lead the automotive industry again, that can innovate again, that can inspire the world again. So I'm going to stand up here, and I'm going to fight. I'm never going to surrender, and I'm never going to back down. And as far as that portion of things, I'm moving on. To address you, since you know so much about ICE. Why are you so afraid of ICE?
Point of order.
I do have a question. What is the theory of ICE coming here? If there's not a problem with illegals, then why would ICE be here sniffing around and scaring you guys so much?
This is a one-way conversation to us, so that's all. We can't answer.
Oh, okay. I'm just raising the question then. Am I able to do that? That's my question. You have a signal check to impede officers that are going to be here if you guys have an illegal? Oh, if you guys have an illegal problem?
Please address the commission as a whole.
We're like Minneapolis, the one that we busted. Okay, buddy. Okay. You want to play these games? You guys have run. You guys have run. Your time limit. The game's over. Game's over, Christopher Runberg.
Point of order.
DSA. Thank you for your time, you guys. Sorry the address was a big deal. God bless America. God bless you all. And I look forward to working with you all. We're going to have opportunity zones. The president has said time and time again he wants to work with Saginaw. He wants to work with Bay City. Build ships here. Revitalize the area. You have dead infrastructure. You guys come here and complain probably every week. Look around you. There's people who were willing to invest here years ago who have gone away, who tell me there's no talent here. I don't believe that. Is there really no talent in there? That's all I gotta say, guys. And I'm very disappointed in how I was treated tonight. I want the best for this area. Doesn't matter who you are. I'm a patriot, and patriots will not be disrespected anymore. You guys have a great night.
All right, thank you.
I live here. I'll see you around. I'll see you.
Hey, folks.
Hi. My name is Sarah Sexton.
to state that I think we're all a little nervous to say our addresses. 814 Center Avenue, right down here. I'm Sarah, and I've lived in Bay City for 21 years. I have always loved the small town feel of our community. I can walk outside and almost every time I do, I see someone that I know. I know Ben, I know Cordell, I know Chris. I know so many people here. I love that. I love running on the rail trail. I love walking downtown. I love our summer festivals. What I'm scared about is that when ICE comes or anything different, I don't know, what will our festivals look like? What will it turn into when people are just generally scared to leave their houses? We're already seeing it because we're watching the news. We are. It's not happening here yet, but we're scared. And so I think for me, that's why this is important. I don't know what resolutions can help. I don't know the legality of it all. But I, Sarah Sexton, I am scared. And I have been an American. My family fought in the American Revolutionary War. We fought in the Civil War, and we fought on the Southern side. My family is complex. I have friends and family from both sides of the aisle today, and I love them. I have coworkers that I love, but I know that they are not okay with people being mistreated, with the government overreach that we've seen. We are not okay with that. I know that my friends and family that vote differently than I do not like seeing children run from bus stops and not go to schools because they're too scared. No one likes that. No one. Everyone is fine and happy with immigration enforcement. Everyone knows that's a necessity. There is a way to do it while maintaining our humanity. Just take politics out of it. Take the funding, take the politics, all of it away. We are people, we are humans, and I don't know right now if ICE is doing something, if they're overreaching, if they're kidnapping or breaking it, doing things that we've seen them do that are unlawful. I'm not sure that I can call my local Bay City Police Department. Not because I'm scared of them. I know a lot of you guys too. I went on a date with one years ago. But I'm just saying, we're integrated. We're here. Like, we're not across the line. So I just want to say, like, I don't want to be scared of you guys. I'm not scared of you now, and I don't plan to be. Sorry, I'm not scared of you guys, and I don't plan to be. But I think these resolutions really show the citizen that doesn't really know what's going on who to call in times of crisis. Because right now, I don't know. That's why I'm here today. Thank you.
Thank you.
My name is Noah Powell. My address is 6135 College Avenue. I am Afro-Native, meaning I am who this land was stolen from. Meaning I am, and my family is, I'm sorry. We're stronger together. That means immigrants, that means citizens, that means residents, that means everyone together, because we are stronger that way. We are it's not okay to hurt people, and I'm scared. My family is scared. My friends are scared. The people I love, the people I care about, the people you love, the people you care about are scared. Scared to leave their homes, scared to just go get groceries, scared to ask someone else to get groceries for them because they're being followed. Nowhere is safe, not even your own home. And that's the one place that you're supposed to feel like you can be yourself, where you can practice your culture, your religion, who you are. And if you can't be who you are in your own home, what are we doing here? Why? America was born on revolution, and if they use the $75 to $85 billion that have been allocated to ICE just this year, using our taxpayer dollars, that's taxation without representation, which is what this country was founded against. I'm shaking, so I'm going to stop talking.
Thank you very much.
Good evening, and thank you very much for the opportunity to speak. I'll be brief.
Name and address for her.
Denise Davidson, 1218 Marseille, sorry. I am speaking tonight regarding the three resolutions that are on the agenda. And I'm questioning who are they trying to protect. I know that there was discussions about detainer request, and I know that the Director of Public Safety has already spoken about that. I think the resolutions, in my opinion, are micromanaging the Public Safety Department. I think that they should be able to do the job that they took an oath to do. I believe the City Commission needs to focus on more important key issues for the 2024 Bay City Master Plan, stabilization of the housing market, development of a strong sense of place within Bay City, economic development and job creation, resiliency. Maybe a periodic review of the master plan might help. I know that there has been discussion by other folks that said we have
610 16th Street, Bay City, Michigan. Bachelor of the Arts, Sociology, Masters, Public Administration, Central Michigan University. In this day and age. I'll give you my own personal situation I had living here. Across the street from the residents who displayed a Confederate flag, two other flags back in the Biden election that said, F you for voting for Biden, F Biden, etc. And then as time went on, I made plenty of complaints with my 4th Ward commissioners, and I also made complaints with our ineffective code enforcement director.
Nothing left to do but take us there to believe in sovereignty. Oh my God, we'll have our home again. My God, we'll have our home. By blood or sweat, we'll get there yet. By God, we'll have our home. In our own towns, with foreigners now, our names are spat and cursed. The headline snapped, another attack, not the last, and not the. Oh, my Father's Day, look down on me. I wonder what they feel to see their noble sons driven down beneath a coward's heel. Oh, my God will have our home again. We'll have our home. By blood or sweat, we'll get there yet. My God will have our home. The road is dark, the way is lost. My eyes, they strain to see. I struggle forth to find a friend to light. Oh, brothers, can you hear my voice? Oh, am I
People out of our country, all right? They're hurting our country, hurting our people. Get them out.
So far to guide my way, then I will start my own. Oh, my God will have our home again. My God will have our home. By blood or sweat, we'll get there yet. My God will have our home. Oh, my God will have our home again. My God will have our home. By blood or sweat, we'll get there yet. My God will have our home.
Listen, America will not back down. We will not surrender. We will hold the line. These people have betrayed our country. It's time we recall these traitors. Guys, we will be marching in New York City on March. Meet us there. The Crusaders will fight and we will win. God bless you guys and God bless America. Cheers, everybody. Woo!
All right, boys, listen, I'm gonna need you guys back up that way, okay? Be careful, bro. Yes, sir.
Yeah, buddy!
Right through.
So I'm gonna literally be like right here. Other than that, yeah, I don't care. Just a second here.
I'll get it.
America, we have to fight back. We are being invaded by these migrants. We need to stand tall. We need to stand brave. We need to fight back. Guys, all across the country, join the Crusaders Active Club. Join the American Christian Public Affairs Committee, and let's fight back. We have the God-blessed Andre Williams over here, who is one of the most important Crusaders we have. He's a leader of a national franchise down in Detroit. Guys, we have been invaded by these migrants and by these white liberals. These guys are intentionally causing a genocide on our people. They're intentionally waging warfare. Their color revolution to defund the police has worked, and we need to fight back. It has been long enough that we've allowed these people to steal our land and steal our country. If we don't fight with this generation, we won't have a country to fight for. White men, black men, lock arms. This is our country, and we are being invaded by Hispanics, and we are being invaded by Arabic Americans. We need to fight back. They are outbreeding us 10-1. If we don't step up now, there won't be anything fighting for. We need to stop the color revolution. I'll see you guys in New York City. Sounds like that's my cue. Cheers, boys.
Here's my phone. Maybe on the line.
Don't back down, don't surrender.
Amen.
Nothing can stop what is coming. We will hold the line.
Always inspired you to do greater and go back to your country and build something. We've done a magnificent job of building a civilization of power. America is a civilization of state. It's not just another country. We run an entire civilization. So what our politicians, local, federal, whatever, they should be doing is encouraging people to go back, build, create, and do for their own, as we've done for ourselves.
So I guess what would your message be to folks who may say you have outdated views or you mainly kind of spewing more division than you are using?
I'm not spewing the division. The division is coming from those elected. The division is coming from those who align to the people. I know what's going power. The average America, especially Gen Z, we know what's going on. We're not going to afford a house. Healthcare is a big problem. But we care about our future. And right now we're watching the older generation try to maintain and consolidate power economically and politically by pushing for these policies. No, we're not going to allow it. I'm confident in the next 10 to 20 years, people of my generation, 25, will take power in this country and we will put our country first. We're not going to have mass migration to this country, whether legal or illegal. We're not going to have that. We're going to put our families first. We're going to advocate for policies with very strong families. And we're going to reduce crime, reduce everything that we can to build a better nation. That's what it is.
My last question, anything you want to add on or you can have before somebody else?
Just say, go follow me on Instagram on Andre Williams USA. Follow me on X and Andre Williams _US. Yeah, I'm all over the place. We'll see more.
Yeah, I'm doing it.
Man. You too.
Fight. Never back down. Never surrender, baby. We're here in Bay City. We're gonna make this city great again. But thanks for being out here, guys. For real, stay safe. Keep doing the work.
Hey, if you guys want to do like anything afterwards, we have a fucking like a 65,000 square foot building in Saginaw. If you guys want to do any one-on-ones, I'll text you. Greg, beat me up. That's one.
All good. Good. Yo, what are you doing?
Ago. That just fucking popped out the bag. Make sure it's all I know. I don't know.
Alright, we're flowing again.
Hi everyone, happy Monday. My name is Debbie Rogers, and I heard a lot tonight, and I'm really hurt and disappointed. When people fail to see, we're talking about our immigrants. Well, the first people in the
Name and address.
Oh, 854 North Pine Road. I thought I said it.
Oh, I'm sorry, I missed that.
No, it's okay. People talk about immigrants, but the first people in America was Native Indians. People just don't understand. We pledge allegiance to the flag. I need to get up because I feel like it's here because I watch everybody stand up and pledge allegiance to the flag with liberty and justice for all, but that's not what we're trying to get. I hear people saying the funding is more important than people. That's not what God meant. He created everybody to be equal. Yes, they came over here for a better life, and they have made life better over here. There's bad people everywhere. But if you really check the jailhouses and you read the statistics, there's more white people causing crime, hate, drugs, rapists. Our president's a pedophile. He caused her riot at the Capitol. What kind of president would do that? We're bound down to Trump, which is a man, which we don't even bow down to God like that. If people would follow God like they follow Trump, everything would be all right. We need to take a stand and say, no, you're not going to do this stuff. Bay City is a nice city. If you bring ICE here, we're going to have confusion, disruption, we're going to have hate, we're going to have chaos. It's not even going to be a nice city. I was born and raised in Bay City, and I know how racist it was. Probably still is, but I don't feel that kind of hate like I did back in the day. So if you bring ISIS here, it's just like history repeating itself. You're going to have hate, you're going to have racism, you're going to have division, you're going to have chaos. And yet you're telling me, I pledge allegiance to the flag, I go to church on Sunday, I read my Bible, I love God, but I don't love people. Make it make sense. Do the right thing. And you tell me all this about funding, which is being cut anyway? I don't understand. And being misappropriated? So tell me that funding is more better than people, and it's people that's trying to live a better life. All immigrants are not bad. And then it makes me wonder, since the Native Americans were the first people out of America, even though we were born in the United States, are we immigrants? I just have to look that up and see. But for people to really understand, Native American was the first people in America. And Bay City is a nice city. And I think that we can walk downtown, we can go out, we can meet neighbors and new people and feel free. So now I gotta worry about, if ISIS come, can I go downtown? Can I have my Mexican friend with me without her being grabbed, or they want to see it for deportation? And then I wonder if I'm gonna act on human nature. Say, no, don't do that to her. She's okay, because that's my human nature. So I'm looking at you guys and I'm wondering what kind of heart you guys have. Do you even have a heart at all? It's not even about funding, it's not about money. It's about doing the right thing. And then you guys tell me about these drug people. You even said you was a criminal. But
Make sure you address the body.
Okay, someone said that they went to jail, so you're a criminal. But I guarantee you if it was a black man wouldn't be out right now. So don't tell me it's not about color, because it is. And I just think that we need to just put a stand to it and say, no more hate here. We're gonna stand together, we're gonna stand firm, and we're gonna stand our ground. And if you guys tell me you can be bought, that's what's wrong with our legislation now, with Congress and our senators, because they're being bought for dollars. I wonder what you guys are gonna say when you meet God face to face, or when you meet the devil face to face. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Larry Elliott, 308 Sampson Street. I have questions on all three of these resolutions because I understand the reason behind them. I'm not in favor of them. Not just because I'm against it. I understand exactly what you're coming from. However, in these cases, you've gone too far from what your intent is. You, in the first resolution, admit that the courts have said detainers do not provide authorization for detaining on administrative warrants. You admit in your own resolution that it can't be done. The courts have ruled that it can't, you don't have to. The chief has said, we don't do that.
Make sure you address the whole body.
I'm sorry. I was just addressing the resolution. Unfortunately, I was looking at the person that wrote it, but I'll look over here if I need to. So that resolution really is mute. The second one, when you get into requiring body cameras and requiring badges be worn, and it states all law enforcement in the performance of their duties. Reality of it is, it's all law enforcement from the city of Bay City. It is not law enforcement from the state police. It is not FBI. It is not ICE, because we cannot control what they do in this city. We cannot control what their uniforms are. We can control our staff. I have an issue saying our staff have to wear badges and body cameras in every single thing they do. We have officers that are in drug enforcement. You're going to send an officer in drug enforcement up to a residence or in a vehicle trying to do a drug buy or trying to enforce something like that, and you're going to identify the officer by having him wear a badge and a body camera, that's putting his life in danger. That is not helping the residents of Bay City. That is endangering the residents of Bay City. Regarding the third one, the resolution, the only thing I really wrote down on it was, you know, an arrest for non-assaulted misdemeanors. But it doesn't define non-assaulted misdemeanors other than domestic violence and I think one other assault charge. We're going to control what our police can and can't arrest people for. Unfortunately, I hate to say it, there are some people, driving suspendeds included, that after 30 of them probably should go to jail and learn a little lesson. Because if you just give them a ticket, they're going to go out and do it again. DUIs, they're going to do the same thing. So don't limit what our police can do. Don't codify and say they can't do that. If you want to codify and say they have to follow court rules and not arrest people for assault or for administrative warrants, that's one thing. In addition, none of these resolutions address the issue. Our federal legislators have not done their jobs. For years, every election, they love to say, immigration, we're going to stop it, we're going to solve it, we're going to solve it. When's the last time we saw any immigration reform? They don't do it. Why? Because it's an election issue. It's a way to rile people up. That's tonight, too. So, if you want to add something to require or ask federal legislators to do their job, to change immigration law, to make it easier to come here, make it faster to come here, do that. If you want to codify and ask our legislators to do their job and require ICE officers to receive more training, do that. Take these back, take these resolutions, table them, rewrite them, make them so they're actually realistic, and so that they actually have some impact. These mean nothing. These are just political points, that's all they are. Sorry. It's just a political show.
Thank you.
My name is Catherine Hickmiller. I live over at 110 Hill Street, which puts me over at the 2nd Ward. Thank you so much for letting me talk tonight. I know I'm not from Port Huron or Detroit, and I have fewer than 1,000 followers on Instagram, so I don't even have an Instagram, but I hope you hear me anyways. So you're saying here today that you're afraid to codify these rules, because why? Bay City was a town funded by the myths from the Paul Bunyan legends. Bay City is never been known for being a cowardly city. And I say this as somebody who was born and raised and does work here in Bay City, who has her children living here, who has her children going to the schools here. I spend my money here in my town. Not just me, but my father was born here, his father was born here, his father's father was born here. My family has been living in the Bay City area for 180 years, which makes me living in Bay City longer than the Bay City has its name. So I hope you understand what I'm saying here today. I'm coming looking at this at a long-term solution. As somebody who was born and raised and wants to continue raising my family here for the next 200 years. You're saying that you're afraid to codify these rules because they're redundant? We're bureaucrats. Redundancy is part of our game. So I do not believe that at all. We are just putting common sense, easy to codify common sense rules into our laws. Because Bay City has always been a welcoming city. If it wasn't, none of you would be here today. So again, thank you so much. I understand that it's been a long day, we're getting fatigued, but Mayor Gerard, I was a den leader for Troop 3121 and 3115. You've spoken to my kids about, running a town and standing up for the citizens. How am I supposed to teach my kids how to be upstanding citizens, how to be morally straight? When you say that you're going to veto this bill, or this resolution before it even hits your desk, how am I supposed to say to my kids, well, sometimes your leaders will lie straight to your face, and you're supposed to be okay with that. But I want you to be different, children. I want you to actually uphold what you say to them. I just hope you give into consideration that somebody who actually lives here in Bay City and not somebody from out of town or out of state who actually lives here and continues to raise their families here, that I want you to actually take a look at this resolution and I want you to vote for it. Thank you.
Thank you.
I say bring back the giraffe. Who's he? Where's he at going? Usually the police officers are arrested.
My name is Scott Doyen. I live at 2371 Dwys Road. I'm here as a business owner. I'm a contractor. And I hear and see the immigrants that are coming here who are not licensed, not insured, and they're taking jobs that I could potentially have. And that irritates me. I also hear the people that are here looking for a veto or voted down. This resolution is full of hate. But yet when I walked in through that protest that was out there, all I seen was a bunch of hate on their side. F Trump, down with ICE, F ICE, all that stuff. It sounds like they're really the peaceful people. I don't agree with it. If ICE would come here, the way that you don't end up like the two in Minnesota is you stay in your house and you don't go out and interfere and interact with and try to obstruct them. That's how you don't get shot. I would bet that if ICE would come here, that if something bad would happen to some citizen of Bay City, that it's not going to be one of the people that are hoping for a veto or voted down. It's going to be one of these people that are up here crying and you got to let them come, you got to let them come. I don't agree with it. Out of the people that are here looking for this to pass, I'd like to know how many of them are opening their doors to the people that are coming here because they're not going to have a place to live right off the bat. So, what are they going to do? Live in a box under the bridge? Are they going to be on welfare? Are they going to be stressing our system already more than it is? I just hope that this gets voted down, and I hope if it doesn't, I hope that you veto it, Mayor Drew. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. My name is Luke over on 821 Michigan Avenue. I'm here today to voice my support of Commissioner Rudberg's resolutions. Passing these resolutions will help protect the residents of the city from ICE violence. Based on comments from the Department of Public Safety, it seems like these resolutions will only affirm and protect some of the standards we already have. I appreciate the Department of Public Safety agrees with these resolutions. I would call on Commissioner Doyle to vote in support of these resolutions. And I ask that Mayor Gerard resign from the commission due to today's recess, because I guess he likes to say things in the shadows. Anyways, thank you. Have a great night.
Bob Allen, 906 North Monroe Street, Apartment 3, Commissioner Kubitz's ward. And I am here tonight to speak in support of Commissioner Rudberg's resolutions. These resolutions are not radical. This is what a free community sounds like when it remembers the basics, when it remembers who they are. A previous speaker said they've always been a welcoming city, and she was right. Now let's talk about why these are necessary. This is hypothetical. As of February 2026, a Reuters review of court records found that more than 400 federal judges have ruled more than 4,400 times since just October, 5 months, that ICE has unlawfully detained immigrants. This is the federal judiciary across the country repeatedly saying this is illegal. If a system racks up those kinds of numbers, thousands of unlawful detentions, and keeps going, the argument to just trust the process and just do as you're told and they won't hurt you goes right out the window. That is not a plan, that is denial. Now, speaking of numbers, the word in the room is money. As another previous speaker mentioned, the number 0 is the number of cities across Michigan. We are not the first to do this, and we won't be the last, but the number 0 cities have lost funding because of this, in spite of unnamed threats, the threats from unnamed cowardly politicians. This is how authoritarianism recruits. Not always with slogans, not always with groypers from out of state who come in and try to blame slavery on, what did he say, Jews and Arabs? No. No, not just with slogans, but with spreadsheets, like threatening dollars. So fear becomes policy, silence becomes prudence. But here's the thing, we're not alone. Communities all over the state and country are passing these resolutions. And that's what solidarity is about. That's what it looks like. Not just one town standing up for what's right and getting singled out, but many standing up together. We're a union town. We know what solidarity means. Some things are not for sale. Not our status as citizens, not the Constitution, not the basic promise that the people who live here are not prey. They are neighbors. I also want to say something plainly because history is not kind to euphemisms. The road to fascism is not paved only, as I said, by true believers. You know what they call the people who weren't members of the Nazi Party, who collaborated with them or refused to stand against them? They call them Nazis. History does not give extra credit for technicalities. It asks, when power demanded your participation in cruelty, did you comply? Did you normalize it? Did you help it function? Tonight, Commissioners and Mayor Gerard, you have a chance, you have an opportunity, a historic one, to say, not here. Not with our money, not with our resources, not with our police, not with our cooperation, not behind masks, and not without judicial warrants. Commissioners, please vote yes on these resolutions. Mayor Gerard, please consider reversing your stated public intention to veto them. Choose courage over convenience. Choose a community that can look itself in the mirror. And I'd like to close with the words often attributed to Pastor Martin Niemöller. First they came for the communists, and I did not speak out because I was not a communist. Then they came for the socialists, and I did not speak out because I was not a socialist. Then they came for the trade unionists, and I did not speak out because I was not a trade unionist. Then they came for the Jews, and I did not speak out because I was not a Jew. Then they came for me, and there was no one left to speak out for me. Commissioners, please, speak out for our neighbors. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Good evening, Chamber. Kirby Burns, 817 South Sherman Street, Bay City, Ward 4, Ben 10. Say, first of all, Commissioners, thank you for all the work that you do. In all reality, I know tonight has been heavy. You've had a lot of things considered. You've had a lot of different people come forward, state their opinions and their thoughts. And I know that that's not an easy thing to have to deal with, especially dealing with this point where we are, not only in Bay City, Michigan, but the United States as a whole. Things are shifting and moving into such a way that this is a small part, as we all are in a community. And I want to speak to that a little bit. So in my background, I'm a chef. I've worked in a lot of different backgrounds. I've been in the industry for 13 years. I've worked with individuals varying legal statuses. I've worked with people with varying backgrounds, different lifestyles. And the thing that has always been prominent to me and important to me is that I was always able to learn lessons and have camaraderie with these people. It doesn't matter to your background as to where you come from. You only point into place to where it matters your background or to where you come from are racists and xenophobes. And here's an issue into that. When people say they have a problem with the immigration aspect and how people are coming into communities, and they say, well, I don't have any problems with Mexicans, I don't have any problems with Arabs. If they just come here legally, they're totally fine. The issue is, though, if the federal administration were to spend the $75 billion extra dollars this year to get to $85 billion to enforce ICE, why wouldn't they be funding that for legal scholars and constitutional lawyers to help expedite the process for these individuals to get to legal status? That would get everybody to where they want to be, correct? Now, of course, those are big problems, and that's not what we're here for in Bay City, and I understand that. But my point into this is, we're currently at a place in time where the federal government does not have the best interests of all people in our country. And that is the reality that we have to face. When I came walking in, because in all reality, I was watching this in a live stream. I've come to the chamber for a couple times, and I've given my opinion on things, and I've worked on political levels in certain areas. When I came in, there are individuals protesting, if you'd like to call it that, wearing armored vests and shouting racist slogans. If you are deciding to not go with these specific points that Mr. Grunberg has brought forth, then we are, unfortunately, you're siding with those individuals that are saying you're race traitors, that you don't support individuals having due process and proper legality, which they have in the Constitution to come through. It's a difficult situation, and I understand that. And there's people in the chamber that are going to agree or disagree, and that's not really the point of this. The point of this is we need to have simplistic protections so that way people who are having constitutional overreach and not following the process that they're supposed to as federal agents aren't going to harm our people in Bay City. I'm born and raised here. I'm going to be 30 this year. I have a house I've been there for 8 years, and I truly intend to stay in the community. I would like to eventually open a business. Preferably a diner, something that's, a commonality, a good ground that's going to allow people of all types of backgrounds and such to have a fair place to share a plate. I don't care if you're of any varying backgrounds or isms. Hell, you can be a Trump supporter if you want to tell me your pain. But the idea is very simplistic in this. We need to support everybody in the community, and if we are not passing these points, we will not be doing that. So please consider that. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Genevieve Peter Scott. I'm running for the United States Senate. My address is 200 West 2nd Street. I'm here regarding the resolutions that the Commission is looking at. And although they pursue worthy goals, upholding constitutional values, ensuring transparency, and prioritizing local safety, good intentions aren't enough when policies stem from emotion and rely on misinformation and create genuine dangers for our community and our state. First, let's look at federal immigration detainer requests. Cooperating with ICE is basic coordination to enforce laws by Congress, the people we elected to keep us safe. Coordinating with ICE is not violating people's rights, it's securing the safety and the rights of American families. ICE agents don't write the law. They enforce statutes passed by Congress to uphold our sovereignty. If we don't allow our local law officials in the jails to actually coordinate with ICE, ICE agents are and will go out into the community. And then that's when the collateral arrests are taken. That means not the criminals, but also people that are living there that are also illegal, then they get taken as well. So it's much more advantageous to a community to actually communicate with ICE and allow the criminal to get taken and deported. Second, opposing face coverings for law enforcement under transparency. During COVID, we heard about how face masks save lives, protect families. It's all about public safety. The mandates were justified for the greater good. Well, today, ICE, FBI, and technical officers wear coverings in high-risk operations, not for politics, but to shield their identities from violent criminals, cartels, and retaliation that could endanger them and their loved ones. We can't claim that they save lives for everyday Americans, then call them unacceptable when they save lives for while officers are facing real threats. Safety isn't partisan, it's a principle that everyone deserves. Third, affirming local public safety priorities. We agree, local resources should serve local needs, but claiming that federal cooperation distracts this is misleading. Teamwork actually strengthens safety. Without it, criminals can exploit the cracks, efforts become duplicated, and taxpayers end up paying the cost. Because whether it's local money or federal money or state money, it all comes from the hardworking people behind me that actually pay their taxes. These resolutions may come with good hearts, and all the people, regardless on either side of the aisle here tonight, I'm sure have good intentions. But passing resolutions that create broad shield with no distinction is dangerous. What does that mean? The person that I'm protecting, that is being protected and let go after being arrested and let go into the community. Are we shielding someone that just came here for a better life? Or are we shielding someone that's a child predator, a rapist, or a killer? We cannot cherry pick. It's a blanket shield. They all get shielded with this resolution. Commissioners, do you want to take that risk with your neighbors, with your children, with your spouse, who you protected? Commissioners, do you accept the risk for every family in Bay City and Michigan? Sanctuary policies can't cherry pick who they protect. This crisis didn't start overnight. It is decades old of immigration laws that were ignored, visa overstays tolerated, and accountability erased, while legal immigrants that followed the rules waited their turn. Law-breaking has been rewarded and law-abiding behavior has been punished. Too many, unfortunately, the protesters and demonstrators are misled by activists and elites, we heard this before, who push emotional narratives from a safe distance. They encourage confrontation and then they disappear, leaving others in the face of consequences. It's not activism, it's manipulation, and I've heard it tonight. Commissioner Runberg, I overheard you when I came in, commenting outside to
the commission as a whole.
Yeah. Okay, there was a commissioner that I heard that made a comment outside that was very disturbing. He said to the demonstrators, anyone who disagrees with these resolutions is not American.
Whoa!
Do you stand by these words? Do you truly believe that the residents here, your own constituents, simply are exercising their First Amendment right to speak are un-American? Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening, Commissioners. My name is Brian Kennedy. I live at 450 Old Orchard Drive, Apartment 9 in Essexville, and I work in downtown Bay City. I have for the past 9 years. I want to say that I appreciate the presentation from Public Safety this evening. It was informative to see the list of values that they go by. And I noted that they include integrity as the first one. That resonates with me because I am a member of the Phi Kappa Sigma International Fraternity, and our 7 core values are trust, honor, respect, knowledge, wisdom, responsibility, and integrity. And integrity is an interesting thing because you can ask 5 people and get 5 different answers about what it means. One of the things that people might most frequently say is that integrity is doing the right thing when no one's looking. My roommate in college said something one day, and it stuck with me forever. He said, integrity is not doing the right thing when no one's looking, it's doing the right thing when no one cares. We get to choose what we care about. We get to choose what we do. We can't choose what other people do. We can't choose what the state decides to do. We hold these truths to be self-evident. We all know the words that come next. It's a common refrain. I'm sure everyone can repeat them in their sleep. But the heart of the American Revolution was not proclaiming that all men were equal and free. It was the words that followed those. That to secure these rights, governments are instituted among men.
deriving their just powers from the consent of the governed, that whenever any form of government becomes destructive of these ends, it is the right of the people to alter or to abolish it. The core of the revolution was the change in the minds of the people, that governments do not have some innate right to exist, and that while all of us ought to be equal under the law, none of us should be slaves to it. We don't leave our consciences at home when we come into the public sphere. Yes, we obey the laws when the laws make sense, when they work for the people. But when the law causes you to become an agent of injustice against another, it is the moral obligation of the citizen to resist it. So what do these resolutions do? No, they don't prevent ICE from coming here. We can't do that. Yeah, they might cause people to be angry with us. They might cause funding to be cut. That's entirely true. But it also means that we get to stand up and say, we will not be a part of this. We are not going to play this game. This is not who we are. So commissioners, you have a choice. No, it's not fair that the decision was forced upon you. No one wanted to force this upon you. None of the people in this room made it so that you had to make this decision tonight. But you have to choose what kind of Bay City this is and will be. Will you say that this is tolerable? I may not like it, but I can live with it. I can live with the federal government acting like this, as long as it means that me, my family, and my funding are secure. Or will you say, I will not be party to this. I will not do this. I will not put my boot on another person's neck. Each of us is responsible for the choices we make. And no legal argument, no popular pressure, no series of mental gymnastics will assuage the feeling of guilt you get from doing the wrong thing when you know what the right is. Nobody is coming to save us. So commissioners, you have to choose. When tyranny comes to town, will Bay City participate?
Thank you. Speak into the mic.
My name is Michael Lewicki, and I live at 1206 North Wood Street in Bay City, Michigan. What happened to our leadership? What happened to the Democratic Party? What the hell happened to the Republican Party? I mean, I don't understand. Do people remember Lincoln Riley? Can I see the show?
Speak to the commission, speak to the commission, not the audience.
Pardon me?
You have to speak to the commission, not to the...
Well, I would like, I'm against the welcoming city because the Joe Biden administration and Kamala Harris had the border wall open for 4 years. Could you imagine how many illegal immigrants came into this country? They're all over the United States. I'm for welcoming city myself, sure, but times has changed. You got illegals in this country. The Americans are getting killed. And then you got drugs in this country. America is not like it used to be. It's a whole different world. And all I got to say, if this resolution passes, I hope that nobody sees any blood on their hands in this city. That's all I got to say about it.
Thank you. Please, sir, please.
I'm Krasinski, 501 3rd Street. I'm Ben Krasinski, the president of the Bay City Command Officers Association. I've been a police officer for 18 years total and 12 with Bay City. Fortunately, Director Rowell had a great presentation, so my speech is a lot shorter. I'm actually just going to go over 3 instances where our department had interactions with 3 different immigrants. First one, on January of 2025, a resident of Bay City was the unfortunate victim of a home invasion. The suspect forced their way into the victim's home, assaulted them, and robbed them of several items. The victim was hesitant to call 911 and called their significant other instead, requesting that they do not call for police. Fortunately, we were called to investigate. During the investigation, it was determined the victim was concerned about their immigration status. From the initial call to the conclusion of the investigation, a minimum of 6 officers had contact with that victim. ICE was never contacted. Not once. In the end, the victim thanked us for our professionalism and still resides in the city. This is how public trust is achieved. I have extreme confidence in every member of the Bay City Department of Public Safety to conduct themselves as such. Prohibiting our ability to contact and or collaborate with federal agencies such as ICE, Border Patrol, will significantly reduce our ability to identify suspects or remove illegal immigrants involved in larger criminal enterprises. Although we don't have many crimes involving illegal immigrants, it does happen. Federal agencies possess the resources and databases to identify suspects and co-conspirators. Most of you know, more than likely, none of you are aware of what jackpotting is. I wasn't until I happened right here at a local credit union. In January of 2025, approximately 4 suspects were able to gain access to an ATM machine and withdraw over $94,000. With cooperation from federal agencies, we were able to identify 1 suspect as a Venezuelan immigrant that had ties to an international gang involved in a criminal enterprise. In 2024, Midland City and other local agencies worked together with federal agencies to identify and prosecute 4 other immigrants for jackpotting approximately $130,000 from their local financial institutions. Those suspects were located and arrested in Minnesota. This is an international criminal enterprise that Bay City does not have the resources or databases to investigate without the cooperation of federal agencies. That is the 2 that I have. And we are all also disappointed in how the resolutions were brought forward. Nobody was contacted from our union to our unions or the department. And it directly impacts how we handle ourselves and how we do our job. So thank you for your time.
Thank you.
My name is Colin Newbright, 510 Lynn Street, Bay City, Michigan. Commission, I just ask you guys to please stop wasting communities' resources on stuff like this. We have our own citizens that are sleeping under bridges tonight, that are worried about how they're going to feed their families, how they're going to find their next job, how they're going to fix their vehicle when it drives on our Bay City streets. Our streets can't get fixed. We have issues with housing. We have issues with development. We have issues with businesses being run here. And we are sitting here wasting time to further people's political agenda. And I politely and respectfully ask you to veto this or vote it down. Thank you.
Well, did you sign in, sir? Is it there? Okay, good. Thank you.
Can previous speakers please check their belongings, make sure they did not take the sign-in sheet? There was a 4-page here that is gone.
It's coming. We may have located the detective. discovered.
The detective found it.
The detective found it, good job. Good placement.
That's what happens when people work together.
All right, we're getting there. I think we have a few more speakers, but we're getting close.
Good evening, Evan Smith, 283 Uptown Road. The resolution put forward by Commissioner Rumberg are very important because they help basically uphold constitutional protections and protect the local resource. ICE activity across the country has led to brutality, deaths in custody, and in public, and detention without due process by refusing to hold people solely on administrative ICE requests, requiring judicial authority or detention and ensuring transparency in the enforcement actions. Bay City takes a clear stand for justice, accountability, responsibility, and use of local public safety resources. I understand that if the Commission votes in favor of these resolutions, Mayor Gerard may veto them after this meeting has concluded. It's the city charter, he has about 2 days. It's important to remember that meaningful public discussion on policies like these should not occur primarily on social media platforms such as Facebook. Not all residents use Facebook, and relying on it creates gaps in participation. It silos information in ways that elevate current voices over others, and those voices do not always come from people who live, work, or meaningfully engage in Bay City. Public policy discussions should occur through accessible official channels that allow all constituents an equal opportunity to be heard. I kind of want to add to this also that I'm a little disappointed, as per usual, with the City Commission, some of the questions that were asked regarding these resolutions and how so much you care about funding. If there's no people, that funding goes towards nothing. If there's no people don't pay any taxes, you lose that funding. KMR, or the person who's not to be named, that threatened to withhold funding, is a vicious, vicious person. And any legislative force that would threaten to withhold funding to protect people and to help their constituents and their citizens is a disgraceful human being. And I think everybody should remember that. Every single person, it does not matter what political party you lie on. If you are not willing to help people, you're just not a good person. I would like to then say to Commissioner Doyle, please vote in favor of this. This is an extremely important resolution. I've heard many oppositions towards it, as the whole commission has. And Gerard, I'd like to also say, please do not veto this. Go back on the words you said and make sure it actually sticks this time. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good evening. Paul Klein, 1713 10th Street. So after listening to public comment all night, I just want to give a current summary. I'm around 33 or so total speakers on the topic, with around 19 in support and 13 against. I'll note that of those 13 against, around 5 or so were open outright white supremacists who are currently outside of the truck with a sign that says Chris Grunberg is a race traitor. But I'll note only 2 or 3, a handful, came with substantive policy reasons that they are against this. And I think those are worth considering. We should talk about those. But the main point I'd like to make is just about what we're here to do. As some of our public safety department officers have made clear today, the policies we have are already in place. They might end up in the end needing little to no action at all. A few tweaks, a little training, maybe we add something new, maybe we take a bullet out of these resolutions to get them to pass. So what that says is, on a policy basis, we are already a welcoming city. Right? For all these people in the room that have said, don't pass this, don't make us a sanctuary city, we are going to get attacked by Republicans. If that's true, where's the attacks? These are already our policies. So why hasn't Tim Beeson cut our funding? Why hasn't this mysterious threat from an unknown national legislator to not send us a letter of support, why haven't they been already cutting letters of support? Why hasn't Trump already sued us? We're already doing it. I'm not sure how many people outside the city know that we are already a place with good policy. And maybe a resolution like this might establish that fact and spread that fact around. We need people in Bay City to rebuild it, right? Actually, the conservative Cato Institute put out recently that from 1994 to 2023, illegal immigrants, specifically, not even counting people with documents, created a $14.5 trillion surplus in the economy. Because they pay taxes and don't get anything back. Sales tax, rent, so on. Extra. So with that in mind, with those policies already in place, I'm really curious what the reasons to vote no or veto these resolutions will be. Because in a sense, if you veto, or if you vote no, you are vetoing or voting no on the policies that we already have in place. If you listen to the anti-immigrant crowd in this room and choose their voices as the dominant ones, does that mean we're going to shortly see resolutions reverting current policy? Are we going to see a 287G program? Are we going to see a pro-mask resolution, a body cam removal resolution, a detain if you have an accent resolution, a spend city overtime patrolling neighborhoods for ICE without compensation resolution? Because if we're doing this already, why would you be against locking in what we're already doing in place? Preventing it from changing no matter what external pressure comes from outside the city. We want to keep doing this. And if there are things in these resolutions that need tweaks, then I hope later tonight that can be worked out. Maybe there are bullets that are adjusted, who knows? But overall, this is good because we're already doing it. I heard a few good lines from a Democratic candidate down in Texas earlier today. Put out a video, his name's James Calrico. Comes from a line of Christian preachers and is one himself to an extent. Someone in the audience asked him if love is too soft for the current moment. So preaching love all the time is just not good enough. If love thy neighbor is too weak for the challenges that face us. And what he said struck me. He said, love is not weakness. Love is standing between a bully and the bully. Love is making the weak strong. Love is not cowardice. Love is flipping tables in the temple to fight for the downtrodden. So I hope you all ponder that message today. Spent my time with a few arguments I've been collecting over the course of the day as well. I think one of the main contradictions I was hearing is that we shouldn't do this because it does nothing, but also we shouldn't do it because it does things that we weren't asked about. I don't really understand that contradiction. I think we want to lock in the policy we have. That is good. We are already a welcoming city. We should stay that way. But if there are issues and tweaks we need to make, let's make them. But yeah, I'll make it quick to finish. I think we've had enough doomerism over the past several years and this past year. Doomerism that the funding will get cut, that we'll lose any future elections and people are going to come after us, that things are going to get worse. Let's take this incremental win. It's a start. It doesn't do a lot. There's more to do. There's more fights to have. There's elections to do. There's policies to change. We can do more. Let's not doom about this. Let's take the win and keep going. Let's pass that on. Got it. Want that tax exemption?
All right, thank you. Just make sure you speak into the mic. Pull it down.
All right, here we go. Hi. Can I finish writing my name before you start? I'm not sure what I want to say. All right. I'm Jesse Kadoff. I am from 4455 Maple Road in Frankenmuth, Michigan. I grew up here. I went to Frankenmuth High School, and I have been living out of state across 6 other states for the last 20 years, trying to change the system from the inside. I tried to do it for politics. I tried to do it from academia. I tried to do it with the nonprofit industrial complex. I spent the last 25 years going, what else can I do? And as you look around, is this fun for anybody? I'm sure that you can probably see that the way that we're doing politics right now is not working. So I'd like to build on what that guy said. What if, well, let me back up and say, my ancestors came here, along with probably a lot of your Eastern Europeans, If you came here from 1850 to about 1920, you're probably here because your ancestors were fleeing genocide, religious persecution, some other form, because the first concentration camp was not in Germany. It was in Poland, Prussia, where my ancestors were from. They were lucky to get out after the first wave of killings because they were Lutherans, because they were Methodists. The only reason that we have so much heritage that has managed to stay alive over the last century, in World War II when Germans were the undesirables, was because we stood together. The only reason Frankenmuth exists is because they said, you know what? They're looking at us as the undesirables. Are we going to stand and hold hands together? Or are we going to throw each other under the bus? Because that cultural heritage would not still exist here. The Polish heritage, the German heritage. Are we going to sit around and point fingers at each other? Or are we going to say, all right, we have an opportunity here. We know politics isn't working. What can we do? Can we pass this? Can we advertise it? Can we do something like the Big Ten Compact where they talked about coming together and creating solidarity? Can we make this an innovation and knowledge hub? Turn all of these abandoned buildings into co-housing with everybody I've talked to over the last 2 years when I said, if you didn't have to worry about money, what would you do? And they said, I want to live on a piece of land close to people I love, eating food that's not going to poison me. Is that where we are? And I think this would be a great step in the first direction because we could make this area an innovation and knowledge hub. AI is taking jobs away. What if we prove the value of human knowledge, of connection, of innovation? So I supported, I came back here because this is one of the only places in the country where I've seen people be able to do the kind of solidarity that put me in a lot of tricky spots because I thought everybody thought about the common good. Which is why I came back here because I said the next political evolution is going to come out here. We know how to pull somebody else out of the ditch without saying who do you vote for. So, what if we took a different route? Did that and built on it and made ourselves an attraction and provided an example that other communities could look to because people don't know how to do resistance. Just like the cops, if you have never done what the ordinance is saying, if you've never practiced it, if you sit down and try to play a trumpet one day, are you going to be able to do that? No, not without actually thinking it through and carrying it out. Thank you.
Somebody hit the light switch.
There's something here?
I don't think anyone actually hit that, did they?
Can I just, for the last 5 years I've been building out a system of organizing. We need to meet people where they are. I studied consciousness and you're stuck in survival mode if you don't have your basic needs met. You're in the pit of despair, you're protecting yourself. The threshold from protecting yourself to expansion is courage. Thank you.
Thank you. Oh, make sure it's on the green light. Okay, just make sure you're speaking to the mic.
My name is Don. I'm 72 years old, and I'm here every morning. I walked up and I really don't see any reason why we need this reservation. We're already doing it. Anybody can come here and live here if they want to.
I'm sorry, did you say your address?
2021 South Euclid.
Okay, thank you.
Well, that being said, there's no reason to do any of this. Anybody can come, anybody can live here. It's that simple. Well, you can bring all the immigrants you want. There's already immigrants here. Not been a problem. I don't see ICE here. Why do we gotta change? If you think you're gonna control ICE, that's not gonna happen. If they wanna come, they will come. That's all I got to say. I listen to everybody else here tonight. This is my opinion. I'm not for this resolution at all.
Thank you.
Hello. Appreciate you guys hearing us out. I know it's late. I'll try to go quick. That's what I want to say. I guess
name and address.
Yeah. My name's Robert Torres. I live on Center Avenue. I don't want to give the exact dates because people are weird. So,
I'm sorry, point of order. I just want to be consistent with everyone.
I have to give the exact address. I live on Center Avenue with that.
I'm just trying to be consistent.
Commissioner Kuba, it was discussed earlier that we can ask, and that is as far as we can technically go. He did give a...
The clerk says it's fine.
Sorry, I just thought that was good.
I just don't think that we need to be consistent with what we're asking everyone to do, and people have been hesitant and afraid, and you know, that's the expectation that we set here in this commission, and I just want to be consistent with what we're asking everyone.
Yeah, I understand your concern. I don't think it's to the law. Maybe the clerk can speak to it because
There are several that didn't give their address or their last name. As long as they signed into the sheet, then that's our requirement. That's our rule.
Go ahead.
Okay. So, let's just say first that there's some things in the, amendments or declarations, you know, I do agree that it seems a little redundant, and other things where I can't believe that it's questioned about why we're doing it. So, I'll go through my spiel real quick. I think allowing the federal officers into the city without some kind of oversight is insane. Now, I don't really look through things through the lens of politics, so I invite everyone to join me in a moment of looking at this organization as just that, an organization. Not ICE, not the Trump administration, not Republicans or fascists or Nazis, an organization. So, with that being said, they have completely disregarded the rule of law. The Chief Federal Judge, Patrick J. Schultz, a conservative appointed by George Bush, has stated that in a ruling on January 28 that ICE has violated more court orders in January than, quote, some federal agencies have violated in their entire existence. That's insane. That should not be normal, and that should be something we look at as kind of weird. I don't know how we're supposed to trust a law enforcement agency that literally takes lawful court orders as nothing more than suggestions. They also have made it abundantly clear that they refuse to cooperate with local law enforcement and representatives when misconduct is brought up. Both Alex Petty and Renia Good have both had their investigations blockaded by the federal government when local officials wanted to be part of it as a team effort, which is normal, but they didn't want to do it. We also have the ICE acting director, Todd Williams, who said, quote, video evidence has revealed that sworn testimony provided by two separate officers appears to have made untruthful statements. And these are two separate people outside of these two. So there's multiple people that aren't always in the headlines that we're kind of missing out on. To me, what logical sense does it make to work with an organization that made it clear that if things go south, not only will they not work with local authorities and representatives, but they have proven they will straight up lie. When the DHS said that Alex Petty, for example, was a domestic terrorist waving around a gun, despite video evidence saying that's not true. So the big point I would make, I do have other things, but in case I want to run out of time, is I keep hearing the phrase about what would change or what would this do if we had something. I would respond with the question of, if Alex Peretti was a cop with just a GoPro, or not GoPro, but a camera going on, do you think he would have been taken down the same way as Alex Peretti, who just had a cell phone? You think he would have been sprayed in the face, brought down, beaten, and then shot in the back a couple times before he turned over and then was shot in the street. Because I feel like the reasonable response is that that probably wouldn't have happened to a cop. And so I think the situation, I think any rational person would say that. And so we know that it's only because of citizens who are out there recording, and we see it through that. And so one thing I would put with declarations and proposals is body cams seem like an obvious. And so when I hear the question of what would it do, what would it fix, I mean, if we just have cops out there with body cams looking over the area, that doesn't seem irrational. That doesn't seem extreme or anything. Like, there's some things, the whole amendment, we could tweak, whatever. I think, like you guys are saying, this is like the first we actually talk about it. Great, this is the conversation. So, yeah, and that's from in response to resolution, 2, paragraph 6. So when people are like, all this stuff is like already done, it's not. I mean, I've heard someone say that we don't want to babysit the ICE officers. It's like, well, maybe you have to. I don't like babysitting grown adults either, but welcome to Earth. That's how this works. Another thing I hear is the driving force of concern is the federal government withholding money because they won't participate in this organization that has a train wreck of a record. It feels like they're holding a fiscal weapon to our head, essentially. The people who just want to help us. Like, that makes sense. I'm pretty sure that's how protection rackets operate in criminal organizations. Do what they want or they're going to hurt us. They are literally operating the same way as the people they're accusing of being time. So, yeah, that was pretty much it. Thank you for your time, but yeah.
Thank you.
Charlie Condon, 211 North DeWitt. Thank you for allowing me to express my humble opinion. Might be good to remember that the city of Bay City is a political subdivision of the county of Bay. And the county of Bay is a political subdivision of the state of Michigan. And the state of Michigan is a political subdivision of the United States of America. That's the name of it, the United States of America. I think what we need to do is put this off for a while until we read the opinion of the city attorney, out of respect for the city attorney. We'll just wait a few weeks, hold off, and then drop it altogether.
All right, thank you. Anybody else? All right, seeing no one else, now's the time for the business of the remarks of the mayor and commission. The commissioners have remarks. Commissioner Rumberg.
Thank you. Yeah, I had some prepared remarks here as well. Get through as quick as I can here. First off, I want to thank you to everyone. I appreciate you coming up and speaking, no matter what side of the issue you fall upon. I know this is a deeply emotional and divisive topic. I've heard concerns from residents who fear for their neighbor's safety, as well as concerns from residents who worry about federal overreach. I want to address both. Let me be clear what these resolutions do and don't do. They don't change federal immigration law. They don't prevent federal enforcement. They don't make Bay City a so-called sanctuary city in any legal sense. What they do is exercise Bay City's constitutional authority under the 10th Amendment and the Michigan Home Rule Act to decide how we use our resources and protect our constitutional rights. The question isn't what should federal immigration policy be. The question is, should Bay City police focus on Bay City crime or federal enforcement? Should we protect the Fourth Amendment rights or expose taxpayers to $1 million lawsuits? These resolutions are grounded in established law. Federal courts have consistently held that ICE detainer requests are voluntary and not mandatory. Counties that honor detainers without judicial warrants have paid tens of millions of dollars. Suffolk County, New York, up to $60 million. New York City, $92.5 million. Los Angeles County, $14 million, as long as others. These are real taxpayer dollars. Here in Michigan, Wayne County, Needham County, they've already adopted these policies. They're not radical. They're doing what the law requires. I want to address the public safety argument directly. These resolutions strengthen public safety. When immigrant families are afraid to call 911, crimes go unreported. When victims won't cooperate because they fear deportation, criminals stay on the streets. When witnesses won't come forward, cases fall apart. The Major Cities Chiefs Association, police chiefs from across the country, has said explicitly, when local police are seen as immigration enforcers, community trust disappears and everyone is less safe. Some have suggested these resolutions create costs. So let's talk about costs. Professional interpretation services, I imagine would be about a few $1,000s annually. We didn't have a ready number offhand. Compared to the expense of lawsuit, that's pretty significant. Training might be a few hours per officer at most. And clear policies offer us no cost at all. These resolutions aren't a cost, they're an insurance against catastrophic liability. I've heard concerns about federal funding being withheld. This threat is legally baseless. During Trump's first term, cities across the country adopted similar policies. He then threatened funding. Federal courts blocked every single attempt. Chicago, Philadelphia, Los Angeles, New York, they all kept their funding and their policies. The Supreme Court has been clear. The federal government cannot use funding to coerce cities into enforcing federal programs. If they try, we'll sue and we'll win. State funding has more flexibility. Representative Beeson's vote to pull $1.6 million over the bridge issue shows how retaliation is possible. What if state legislators want to punish Bay City for following the Constitution? Voters in 26 this November and 28 will remember. Even assuming $5 or $6 million in combined funding may be at risk, counties are paying over $60 million and $90 million in settlements. Even with a 10% chance of a lawsuit, expected costs of not adopting these resolutions is 5 to 10 times that. I refuse to let fear of illegal federal threats or political toxic state retaliation prevent us from doing what's constitutional and right. That's not leadership, that's surrender. I want to thank my fellow commissioners, especially those who have spoken with me about this after the resolution came out, for their thoughtful questions about implementation. Based on Director Rowell's testimony tonight, I'm prepared to work with my colleagues on amendments that A, align resolution language with existing departmental policies and union contract terms, acknowledge that Article 17 of the collective bargaining agreement has a process where we give 30-day notice on any sort of policy changes that impact their roles and responsibilities. I also plan on being movable on reporting requirements, right? If there wasn't yet another reason to hold them over. No use of federal immigration officers for translation services, which it sounds like we avoid already, so that's great. These aren't preferences, they're constitutional requirements. And they're the difference between Bay City being protected from liability or exposed to it. Tonight we have a choice. Not between being tough or soft on immigration, that's federal, not ours. Not between law and order or sanctuary, those are false frames. The choice is, do we use Bay City's constitutional authority to protect residents' rights and focus resources on local priorities? or we allow federal pressure to expose us to liability and undermine community trust. I believe the choice is clear. I urge my colleagues to support these resolutions, not because they're politically expedient, they're legally sound, fiscally responsible, and morally right. Thank you.
Thank you. Commissioner, go ahead.
Yes, this is, that's going to address much that's happened tonight, but things that we happen outside of this for the city. The budget season's coming up, so if you guys need a refresher, your books are a new thing, and we're going to start getting those soon, so we're going to have to look at what we have available. The other thing that's coming up, we did all get our packets with the bids for the interviews for the firms to select a new city manager. I'm going to ask the city manager this time to, well, not immediately, because it's 11 o'clock at night, send us the doodle form for times to try to get a special meeting together for us to all interview the firms. And I'm going to ask them, the firms to make the presentations of 20 minutes. That way we can have some order to that. And that will, at that meeting, we will also decide on which firm we'll be going. And unlike our appointment schedule, I'd like to do it as a singular vote if possible. We can debate about that at that special meeting. And then from there, I'm going to request that we have 3 commissioners work with the current city manager to be liaisons for that selected firm, so we don't have to call a meeting every time they have a question on us. We'll work on that after we make the selection. And from there, hopefully we select a firm that will interview all of us individually, so we know what we want going forward. So I request that you ask for input from your constituents on what you're going to want for a city manager going forward. And please do your best to keep your schedule flexible, because this could be some pretty interesting times for us. So do you have the information you need for that? Perfect. Those are the ones I want to focus on today. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Yes, I was going to bring that because really a lot of our priorities really need to be future focus on our upcoming city manager decision. Anybody else? Okay, is the manager? Oh, yep, go ahead, Commissioner.
So just to circle back, because I want to express my thought on these resolutions, and I appreciate your openness to revising some.
Can you pull the mic in a little bit?
Yep, pull the mic in a little bit.
Oh, sorry. I appreciate your willingness to revise some of these. I have 2 very clear points. I don't know if anybody else kept a tally. I kept a tally, and we spoke to approximately 40 people, or heard from approximately 40 people. The numbers pro and against are almost exactly the same. This is too divisive of an issue to shove through or to veto without getting it the proper attention that it deserves. I would like to see personally, before we vote on this, I would like to see the language in regard to public safety on every single point that refers to public safety reviewed with public safety, and make sure that it aligns with what they are currently doing. We're codifying that it is accurate. Sorry, that it is accurate, and we are not forcing them to change language. That's number one. The other point, again, it comes up over and over, and some people want to be very blasé about, oh, the funding, you're going to let money make choices. That position comes from a place of, I feel, profound privilege. We just watched a housing presentation earlier today that said 21.5% of Bay City residents are living in poverty. Depending on how you want to slice the pie, we have probably another 20% living paycheck to paycheck, living on limited funds, Social Security, any number of federal funding, and they are scared. So to make this a black and white issue on feelings and you're a good person or a bad person, because this is people's livelihood. And we watched this administration let people go hungry and worry where their next meal was coming from for, what was it, 42 or 43 days. Some people in our city, 43, thank you. Some people in our city have not financially recovered from that lapse in benefits. We have to consider those people and do the best we can by those people, and I think that we do that by making really, really sure that this does not put them in the line of collateral damage for the sake of saying what's right. And I hope I'm not the only person who can identify with that. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? All right, Dan, do you have any comments?
Two quick things. The year in review video will be on our next agenda. And the attorney opinion that I did pass out to the commissioners tonight, I'll send that to you all electronically so you can share that, and they'll be available in the city clerk's office as well.
All right, thank you. Next. What's that? Okay, we are on our regular agenda, so will the clerk read the next item of business?
Reports of Officers 5, City Manager recommending property tax reduction exemption program, recommendation approved.
Is there a motion, Commissioner Kubic?
Motion to,
Approve.
sure, a motion to approve.
All right, is there a second, Commissioner Copeland?
Second.
All right, discussion, Commissioner Kubic.
Unless anybody else has any further comments, I make a motion to refer to staff to see if we can have a little more discretion to potentially be a little bit more generous. And that's my motion.
Okay. Any objection to that? Is there a second to that, Commissioner Tenney?
Second.
All right, is there any objection then?
On point of order, the person who brought it up for passage, are they allowed to also refer it on the same item, or is it a different have to refer to staff?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear your first
He
part.
wants, he's asking if can she refer it back to staff? If she
Yep.
For this
Yeah, because it has to be on the floor to talk about before an amendment can be made, and essentially she's just trying to refer it, so that's fine.
I know there's a couple things that you can't do that, I'm actually putting them up.
Yeah, no, that's fine, because I thought it was an amendment too, so, or in the future, you can just move to refer, but putting it on the table, you can still discuss it if you want to before it just goes back and is done.
All right. So any other discussion on that? All right, is there any objection then? Seeing no objection, they'll go back. Okay, is there a discussion? Commissioner DeWitt?
To the chair, to the city manager, for this position, and actually it's kind of to both years officers or positions, there is no problem if somebody might have a back bill to the city and be on the planning commission. Right? There's no investigation into financial liens against the city.
No, we don't have that requirement in any of the committee resolutions.
Okay, I just had someone ask me that, and I'm like, I'm pretty sure we don't. I just want to make sure that we don't.
Right. Correct.
All right, I'll set. Any other discussion? Commissioner Kubic?
Just to be clear that this particular appointment, it's the discretion of the mayor, correct?
Well, it's in conjunction with the planning department, and commission officers had the opportunity to sit in, but I didn't, nobody else from the commission officers. Anybody else? No. So I sat through them. These are the two best candidates that came, between myself and the planning department as a recommendation. All right. Roll call.
Commissioner Doyle?
Yes.
Tenney?
Yes.
Sinani?
Yes.
DeWitt?
Yes.
Rumber?
Yes.
Trelleborg?
Yes.
Morris?
Yes.
Hewitt? Yes. And Coakley?
Yes.
And yes.
All right, it's approved. Next item on the agenda, please.
Regular agenda 1, Commissioner Rumber's resolution regarding values regarding detainer requests and constitution.
Commissioner Rumber.
So I'll have comments to provide for all these, but much shorter than my remarks to the commission, so appreciate y'all bearing with me. Something that's not in my prepared notes on this, it's not just to do what the right thing is. I have people in my ward and across the city that this directly impacts. But Resolution 1 prohibits honoring ICE detainer requests without judicial warrants. This protects Bay City from Fourth Amendment liability, and that has cost other jurisdictions tens of millions of dollars.
We need a motion first.
Oh, I'm sorry, they're in discussion already.
No, so.
I'm moving.
Okay, move to approve. Is there a second? Commissioner Tenney.
Second.
All right, discussion, Commissioner Rumber.
Oh, you would have called me off way earlier. So, as I said, Resolution 1 is all about administrative detainers versus judicial warrants. I'm not going to beat a dead horse. We already went through and talked about all that. The two areas I'd like to amend, though, if I move to amend, I'll let everyone else have a bit of a discussion first, but I do want to move to amend it at one point in time. But it will be adding a resolution clause that addresses the collective bargaining agreement under section 1.2 and article 17 of those agreements. And then of course changing the reporting flexibility to be quarterly to at request of any commissioner. So with those intentions out there, I yield back.
Any other discussion? Commissioner Kubin?
I guess from a procedural matter, if there's an intention to amend, I would make a motion to refer back to Commissioner Rumberg with all of the input that we've had tonight, and to work with the law enforcement and collective bargaining representatives to make such amendments.
Thanks. So there's been a motion to refer it back to Commissioner Rumberg. So is there a second to that? Commissioner Doyle?
Second that.
All right, is there any objection? All right, Commissioner Rumberg.
No judge.
All right, so we'll do a roll call vote to refer to Commissioner Rumberg. So it's for him to refer to them to work with the various departments to then make any changes he wants to make. Is that correct? Correct me.
Correct.
All right, and so it's been objected, so we're voting whether or not to move forward or not.
So this is to refer. So a yes means you agree, a no means you do not. Commissioner Teddy?
No.
Donati?
Yes.
DeWitt?
I'm sorry, I'm halfway lost here. The yes is to refer.
Yes is to refer.
Okay. I am going to go with yes.
Rumberg?
No.
Charlebois?
No.
Morris?
Yes.
Hewitt? Yes. Coakley?
Yes.
Doyle?
Yes.
6 yes.
All right. It's going to be referred to Commissioner Rumberg to review. Is that only on the first one? Okay. So, will the clerk please read the next item?
Regular Agenda 2, Commissioner Rumberg's resolution regarding opposition to the use of face coverings by law enforcement and establishing transparency and accountability standards.
All right, is there a motion, Commissioner Rumberg?
Move to approve.
Is there a second? Commissioner Jawa?
Second.
Discussion? Commissioner Rumberg?
This one I will actually, it's the best way to do this, to refer to myself. I could table it till next, what's the best way?
Well, you can refer.
What is it?
Self-refer.
I can self-refer. That one I do have some amendments I want to dive into a little bit deeper on, so that one I'm going to refer to myself.
Okay, is there a second to that?
You do, thank you.
All right, Commissioner Doyle? All right, okay, is there any objection? Okay, it's been referred back to Commissioner Rumberg. Okay, will the clerk please read the next item?
Regular Agenda 3, Commissioner Rumberg's resolution affirming values regarding local public safety priorities and use of public resources.
Is there a motion, Commissioner Rumberg?
Move to approve.
Is there a second? Commissioner Trelawa?
Second.
Discussion, Commissioner Rumberg?
Resolution 3 focuses on law enforcement resources and local priorities, prohibits using city resources for federal immigration enforcement, establishes professional interpretation services usage, and ensures appearance tickets are issued based consistent with Michigan law. This one I will also offer to have amendments I want to do on here, whether someone wants to refer it back and do whatever is fine. But my intention is to amend, same thing with the first resolution there, bringing it in line with the collective bargaining agreement. I'm also going to amend the third resolved clause at some point in time for an ID training, make sure it's consistent with the MCL code for appearance tickets. And I'll also add an amendment on there for reporting flexibility, so rather than do quarterly reports again, they'll be available at any commissioner's request. That said, that's all the discussion I have.
Okay, so you're going to make a motion to refer them to your...
No, someone else can make that. This one feels ready to go.
Okay, is there... So, any other discussion on the floor? Commissioner Copeland?
I'm just a little disappointed that we could have done a lot of this stuff ahead of time instead of trying to push something across and all of us spending all evening here when you could have talked to the police ahead of time, you could have talked to the union ahead of time, and just to bypass all of that. And here we are with the resolutions again that we're gonna have to change and everything else. I mean, it's, I don't understand it.
Okay, any other discussion? Commissioner Rumberg, I saw you.
Yeah, just that this has been discussed before. If you look at both the legal opinions for the previous one as well as the legal opinion that was issued on our desks this evening, it's not going to get anything new out of going back to that same well. So I took into account things we learned from the last time around, took into account the opinion from the city attorney, and I had to make a move right now because these are the types of things that can't wait. And we know how fast it is when we refer things back and then we have to circle back to it down the road. So forgive me for trying to do the right thing.
Okay, Commissioner Zani had some comments, and then back to you, Commissioner Cole.
So we are gonna stir everybody up again. We're gonna make the division worse again. I mean, we have to find a new city manager. We have fire trucks go out with one person on them. We don't have enough, and we're talking about this stuff. Let's get it done. You worked on this, Chris. Let's vote on it and turn it down, or it comes up or it comes down. You're afraid of losing the vote.
All right. Okay, folks. I got some comments.
Nothing, I'm just gonna defer to the chief and the director and the union guy both came up and said nobody talked to them. I'm going to assume that they're correct in that. I just...
Okay, so there's been a motion made and support to approve as is at this point. So, Commissioner Cuban.
I will make a motion to refer this back to Commissioner Rumberg. Words matter, technicalities do matter, following the law and having integrity matters, and I know it's been a long night, and this is, I'm frustrated with the process too, but I think we need to get it right, and I'm committed to work on that.
Okay, is there a second for that? Commissioner Glenn.
I'll second that.
All right, is there any objection? Seeing none, that's been referred. Is there any other business before us tonight?
No.
All right, we are adjourned.
When did I say that? Some resident said that. I said that. Is that out there?
All right, folks, this is the scene here inside the City Hall Commission chambers in Bay City, Michigan. It is now 11:20 p.m., Monday, February 16th, 2026. Tonight was a meeting of the City Commission, and as you saw from earlier, there were anti-ICE protesters that were outside, and then several of them made their way inside the building here. There were also a few pro-ICE demonstrators. Jaden Scott had made an appearance earlier. That was, I don't recall off the top of my head the exact time that happened, but like earlier, after sundown, but at some point while the meeting was still going on here. And that was outside. And then a few others, some pro-ICE people also spoke. And yeah, this was the scene out here in Bay City, Michigan. I do appreciate y'all tuning in. More coverage to come. I know the stream cut at one point. The stream was cut, and so it's not all in one, but overall been going for...
Time to go, folks! Yep, we're wrapping it up.
Several hours of filming took place, is what I was going to say on this. They're already turning off the lights. Okay. Well, with that, I think I will cut the stream here shortly. Definitely appreciate y'all that have supported and continued to watch the streams. If you would like to support, I do have Venmo, PayPal, Cash App. All the same username is here, BG on the scene. No obligation to, of course, and I do appreciate those of you that are liking the videos and subscribing as well, following the pages. Definitely grateful for that. Like I said, more coverage to come, but this is a wrap for tonight in Bay City, Michigan, out here at City Hall. We'll get a quick look outside here before closing out this stream. Once again, thank y'all for tuning in. Keep checking the pages for more coverage to come. I am active on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, Threads, X, Rumble, and Twitch. If any of y'all are seeing any of this on one of those platforms and you use any of those others, feel free to follow some of the other pages. And with that, I think I'm going to call this one a wrap. Thank y'all for tuning in.